Hey guys, Redbeard here. Look, man, we're actually working on something. So I got my buddy Nick up here. He picked up a set of axles for his Jeep, and the front housing was tweaked. So he still got the locker and the gears and everything he wanted, but we got to put in new housing. So he ordered this Dana 44. It's like a 2008. What do they call it?
J8 axle.
A J8 axle housing. We got thicker tubes. It's got a couple nice things on it, but we had to move the ring and pinion over and the E-locker over, and we're still waiting on a new plug up here for the top. We'll have that in this week. But I've got an Evo truss kit we got to put on here. I'm going to do a little modifying on that. We're going to add some extra gussets back here in the back that didn't come with the kit. We talked about it, went with the Evo because it doesn't actually weld to the center section, and it's cast. So it does have knuckle gussets that are cast, knuckles are cast too. So I'm gonna have to talk to some folks about that, how we're gonna go about welding that in. But anyway, through the course of this week, I'm gonna weld up this truss kit and get that all put on here. But what we've been fighting today, we kind of so I got a dropout trail rig, Toyota, Suzuki, even the Unimog axles are dropout differentials. So this is the first differential I've actually tried to do in the housing, right? And it shouldn't matter, but I've been a bit nervous about the crush collar and getting that set right. And so we started last week. We throttled out because we didn't have the little preload gauge, and Nick picked up a Snap-on one out of Marketplace. Pretty nice. And so we had the tools, not this, 2 weeks ago, before I went to Texas. And so we got the stuff now. We took and did that and got that all put together. And then we couldn't get the collar to crush. And man, that drove us crazy. Turns out we needed more impact. But it wasn't until I had to go back to the drawing board, use an old cardboard, but we finally drew up a map of what we were trying to accomplish. And after we did that, everything all of a sudden made sense. So we got right at 30 inch-pounds of preload on the bearings. We will have to take it back apart and put the seal in it still. But, we'll torque it back up after we get that done. But what we're going to do now is in the freezer is our E-locker and differential. Now we're not pulling the ring gear off or anything, so we don't have to deal with any of that. There's torque seal on all the bolts, so I'm going to trust that there's still torque. Torque seal's not cracked. It looks good. Everything's lined up. So what we're going to do is drop that in. We're going to fish our wires out through here. I'm going to put like a piece of heat shrink over the end of the wires so they don't fall in and have to fish them out later when he gets his plug, right? But so what we're gonna do now is get that differential set. We're gonna press some new bearings on and start trying to set up our backlash. Now we are about 12 thousandths deeper on our pinion than where we started, and that may or may not come back to bite us. I don't know. Factory setup is 42.
Yeah,
for our baseline,
42,000ths.
And we ended up at 54. Long story how we come to that, but we finally got it. It worked. Yeah. And so we're just going to deal with shimming the side load here. So the problem is we thought this was going to be pretty straightforward. I figured we'd measure everything as it come apart and we go back together similar and have a good starting point. What we encountered was so much slop. Like the pinion bearings were completely wore out. We had all kinds of thrust. Our backlash was what, 1,000? 2,000? Like 1,500, somewhere in the middle there. Nowhere near enough backlash on the gears. How the gears survived is beyond me, but they look good, so we're going to run them. And so what we're going to do, we start out 130, 130. We're going to shove the differential to the negative away from the pinion. So we're going to start out at 115, 145. So we're giving it an extra 15 thou clearance to the left. That should make up for the pinion being sunk in a little bit deeper. Hopefully we can start there, get everything torqued up. We'll get a pry bar in there, make sure we don't have any rock, make sure it's all tight. and we'll go from there. But Nick has signed the big Red Beards Over Thunk Junk waiver, where I am not responsible when this thing explodes and takes out his oil pan. Right, Nick?
That's all right with me.
He says he's looking forward to it. He wants to LS swap it anyway, so that's the next step. But anyway, I'm trying to talk him into some Axletech portals. That's what I want to put on my next rig, so I figure if we can throw them on his, I'll know better what I'm going to do next time, right? We'll guinea pig him on his dime before I get into it. But that's where we're at, guys. It's good to be back in the shop working on stuff. I did have some extra time off over the holidays, but I don't know if you remember or not. I might have been working on a little side project in Arkansas, and that's almost framed in now. The end walls are almost framed in. I have to get a little creative on the garage doors. Turns out my budget may not allow for $40,000 in garage doors. Anyway, I can't stomach having as much in garage door as slabs, so we're looking at some alternative methods on that. But pretty excited about the shop down there. It's coming together, and I think it's actually going to be livable by May. So that's the goal. We're on track to be out of here by the end of the summer. It's kind of what we're looking at. Might as well hang out for the summer because that's the best part of the year up here in the Northeast is summertime. But a lot's going to depend on the housing market and what happens with the sale. If it happens quick, we're moving quick. But once the shop's done and ready, at least we have a place to go. So that's what we're working on. I have not given up on the Ram Charge, the SUV10. I apologize to everybody that it's dragging. Still looks pretty sweet though, doesn't it, Nick?
Yeah.
Friggin' cab over there. We're still got sitting on top of the engine block. Telling you, man. I don't know. I watched the Texas Metals the other day when they were modifying up a panel like it was an ice cream truck. But anyway, panel wagon. And man, I don't know why, but I am like so tempted. I'm really wondering if I could buy another Ram Charger tub and modify like a Dodge D150 van front end onto it. Arch the rear, you know what I mean? Cut it just in front of the A-pillar and seam it back together with the van doors on the Ram Charger body and get that short front overhang, tuck it all back, right? I'm not scared to rebuild the floorboards and the firewall. We'll make her fit. But I don't know why, man, but I'm really craving a van or a cab over type vehicle.
Van or cab over with a lot of power.
Yeah, fair to Midland. We'll see what happens, all right? We may put, I'm a Suzuki guy at heart, but we're kind of moving away from that. We got the little Viper engine over here. Ain't no telling, man. Who knows? We get down to Arkansas and paying $1.89 for propane versus $4.69. Maybe we'll just Hellcat it. Who knows? Time will tell. But anyway, guys, I got projects lined up for years. We got to get caught up. But the first thing I got to do is get this back together. So I'll do some time. Probably won't do any time lapse. My time lapse suck, and I apologize about that. But in order to time lapse, you got to know what you're going to end up with, and we don't always know. So we kind of got to figure it out. It takes longer than we should. Sometimes I got to stop and draw a picture on a piece of cardboard to make it make sense. But aside from that, we're going to get it. But anyway, this is a pretty cool axle housing, guys. Apparently, it's like the last one left in the U.S.
Yeah, one of the last.
What are we, 3/16 tube versus 1/8 tube?
Yes, right around that.
Yeah, it's quite a bit thicker tubes. You have to run different outer seals. It does have inner seals in it, and the fact that I don't have to mess with this, I'm not worried about hurting any of the seals. I do notice that it's only got two small rosettes holding the tube in, so I might take my die grinder and clean out in these big. There's two big rosette holes on the back, and I may take the paint out. Yeah, I know it's welded into cast. What good's it going to do? But if I build that material there in that hole, that's going to help resist any twisting of the tubes inside the housing. Technically, it should not be a concern. You're only running a 3.6.
Yeah, 3.6.
So we shouldn't have to worry about anything like that. But it's out of the rig. We're welding on it already. Now's the time to do that stuff that probably shouldn't have to do, right? But I'm not even going to fool myself by thinking I'm going to weld a good bead in around the tube to the cast. That's not going to work. I'm just not set up for it. But what I can do is get a rosette in here and I build up some material there, and that's
Yeah.
going to help resist any twisting. So I think that's probably the route I'll go on that. It is over thunk junk, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this truss kit comes together.
Me too. Looks like a puzzle piece right now.
Yeah, the box is deceptively small. I mean, it's heavy,
Yeah.
but there ain't a lot of big pieces in there. So anyway, the other interesting part is I'll be putting this together without a vehicle to test fit it in. So I'm going to have to, everything looks indexed pretty good, so we're going to play with that. And, I mean, Nick's got a grinder, right?
It's whatever works.
That's right. And so, you know, anyway, like I said, I don't do this for a living. This is my hobby. It's my release. This is what I like to do. And up until today, I have not really enjoyed this. Like, I feel I can be blunt and honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it today.
Yeah, I have not been enjoying this project. But anyway, I think we turned a page this afternoon.
Yeah.
And things are going to get better. So anyway, guys, thanks for checking us out. Keep watching. Let us know in the comments what you think. But yeah, it's not my traditional stuff. But we're getting ready to branch way out of our comfort zone. So we got to start playing with other stuff, you know. Hey guys, Redbeard here again. Anyway, it's been a little bit of time, but we finally got it all figured out. So I think, anyway, specs were 20 to 30 inch-pounds of preload. We ended up at about 26, 27. I'm pretty happy with that. Finally got the backlash set. A couple bonehead moves on that, but anyway, I'm at a tight 8. So spec is 6 to 10. I think we're pretty good. It's just under 8 thou backlash, but I think that's going to run. We got a good pattern on our mark and paint, whatever. Pretty happy with that. Getting ready to tape everything off, throw the diff cover back on. I'm going to tape off the pinion. He is going to have to put the pinion flange seal in when he gets home. But we're going to get this closed up, get it prepped up, get it ready to install. But yeah, coming together finally made some progress. Tell you what, ran into some issues. I do prefer the spanner gears on the side. Way easier. Anyway, guys, that's going to be a wrap for this video. I'm going to throw in some more pictures of the shop. I actually got some pictures of the framing going on, so looking pretty good. Getting excited. Ready to have some more space. But anyway, guys, as we go through the week, I'll try to document a little bit, putting this Evo truss kit on here, and we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.